for sure, you already see the trend in the last 5 years quite clearly that the weather become hotter. Particularly in the summertime. And also there is also drier weather where it's hotter and drier. The rain become a bit irregular, which means some years come earlier, some years it come later. Most of the year it actually come later. The rain will fall heavily when it rains. So even though the rain overall of the whole year would be same amount, but there are less number of days when it rains. So when it rains, it creates some kind of flash flood in the field, which make it a bit more difficult when the farmer stick to the old farming patterns on methodologies. Because of this climate change, they have to adapt to learn to respond to new conditions. Some, of course, respond better than the others, but overall the trend seems to not be very favorable to the growing conditions of the rice, particularly the jasmine rice, which means we have more tendency of rain come later and heavily, and at the end could be some shortage of water. So the impact on the yield so far, some year we lost up to 50% in the bad year of the total production. Some year only 20%. We've become very concerned and have been investigate on how to help or assist our farmers to adapt to the changing of the climate conditions. So we have been working with support of the Oxfam International, Oxfam Great Britain, and many others to develop new farming methods. Because of that impact in the last 5 years, we have started working on the climate change adaptations, and so we start to work in developing tools to assist the farmer to understand the climate change, to identify what we call the climate risk, the vulnerability point in their farming system, so that they can focus on it. And but it's not a fixed model. It's a process, which means that the climate this year might be on the wet side, on the next year will be on the dry side. So you cannot just say, okay, we chip and for the dry side, but then some of the year it could be on the wet side. So which means, so the process allows the farmers to understand this fluctuation and find a way that could, in the short term, good to cope with the fluctuation, and also in the long term, also address the changes later on. Of course, one of the key things is to do with the water management. I mean, the heat we cannot do so much because it's out of control, but at least if you manage the water well, you can grow some trees which you can influence what we call the microclimate in the farm level. And of course, with the water you can smooth out some of the drought and some of the heavy flood. And also the with additional water management that we are working with the farmers. It means farmers then, after the rice growing season, they have small water that they can grow fruit and vegetables for their own consumption, and also to sell to the local consumer in their village or their cities.